Hi there, April Mack here, and I wanted to jump on today to talk about a little bit more about courage. I did a post a live yesterday talking about the 5 tips to boost your courage, and I wanted to get on and talk about it more because it's something that I'm really focused on at the moment. And as some of you may know, I've got a course that I'm offering late next week or the coming week. Thursday 21st of May it starts. I'll tell you more about that at the end of this live. But so I wanted to come on today and talk about the joy of living dangerously and how that relates to courage. And I came up with that heading or title for this because it was inspired by this book by Osho. And I read this book back in 2008 and it totally changed my life. It is a bit of a weird one, I must admit. So it's got some unusual concepts in there. So if you are interested in reading it, I would just caution that it's, got some unusual concepts in that. Also is a bit of a spiritual leader and teacher and has got some really unusual ideas. But the essence of what he says is it really gets you to think. And for me, by the time I finished this book, this is, back in 2008, by the time I finished this book, I actually decided to quit my job. I was working for Deloitte as a manager at the time. And by the end of it, I decided I'd quit my job. I went out and bought a V8 ute and I took 3 months to go and travel across the other side of Australia, Western Australia, and all by myself, camping out in my ute for 3 months, inspired by this book. So it was life-changing for me. And it's still, it's looking very battered now. But every now and then I look back at it and it's got some really cool stuff in there that's really worth reading just to get you thinking. And so you might not be like me and read it and then quit your job and go travel, but who knows, maybe you will. But the point of the book is that, if I was to say in a nutshell what it's saying is that if you don't live with courage and if you don't do courageous things in your life, then you may as well be dead. That we only get, one life that we're aware of. There might be more, of course, but we won't necessarily remember. And so if you don't do stuff and put yourself out there, take risks, then you may as well just die. And he talks a fair bit about uncertainty, and I thought about that because it's something I think all of us kind of want certainty in life. And, we think that's what we want. But if our whole life was totally predictable, totally certain, and you knew exactly how much money you were going to get and you knew exactly where you were going to live and how you were going to live and who, what things were going to be said and what outcomes you were going to achieve, can you imagine how batshit boring that would be if everything was just so certain and predictable? So when you think of it like that, uncertainty and not knowing what's going to happen next is actually the essence and the thrill of life. It's the mystery and the adventure. And so I know that I certainly want adventure and mystery in my life. Sometimes I want certainty, of course I do, and security. But if that was all there was, security, certainty, then it would be pretty damn dull. Don't you agree? So if you're watching this on a replay, I'd love to hear what you think when I say certainty, security, and hear about whether you think that would also be dull, or is that just something that you think would be perfect? I personally think it would be pretty dull. So what I wanted to do is just read a couple of excerpts out of this book just to get you thinking. So the first, the definition of courage. So this is what Osho says. Courage means going into the unknown in spite of all the fears. Courage does not mean fearlessness. Fearlessness happens if you go on being courageous and more courageous. That is the ultimate experience of courage, fearlessness. So what he's saying is that if you just keep being courageous, keep doing courageous things, eventually you will become fearless. And imagine what it would be like to feel fearless. So, and he says here that there's not much difference between a coward and a courageous person. The only difference is the coward listens to his fears and follows them, and the courageous person puts them aside and goes ahead. So it's kind of like that saying, you know, feel the fear and do it anyway. That is just how you know, take action and be courageous. The other bit I really wanted to read out to you, which I think is really cool and resonates for me, is this bit around the heart. So the word courage is very interesting. It comes from a Latin root, cor, C-O-R, which means heart. So to be courageous means to live with heart. The way of the heart is the way of courage. It is to live in insecurity. It is to live in love and trust. It is to move into the unknown. It is leaving the past and allowing the future to be. Courage is to move on dangerous paths. Life is dangerous and only cowards can avoid the danger. But then they are already dead. Hey, Lindsay. How you doing, beautiful? A beautifully courageous person watching. Hey, Trailblazer. So Lindsay, you might have just missed this. Watch it back, because I think, you know, you'll really get something out of what I just read, which is that courage is the way of the heart. And so if we're living in our heads and our mind wants logic, security, safety. Our heart wants more than that, yearns for more than that. Our heart is willing to take risks and to do courageous things. And something that came up when I was doing my live yesterday, I came up with the 5 B's to, you know, some tips around how to be more courageous. And I talked about 5 different things, and they all started with B. And then finally one popped in towards the end, which was about the B word was beyond. So what I was talking about there was thinking beyond yourself is when you can do things that are more courageous. And I know, Lindsay, you will appreciate that very much as someone who's, you know, a service-oriented person. Yeah, love the B's. Good. Excellent. I'm glad you did. So yeah, and I was thinking about that beyond one today. So for me, the inspiration behind taking steps that I feel a bit uncomfortable around, like when I first started doing lives, I felt really uncomfortable about it, and you know, I was really nervous, and I kept thinking, but it's not for me that I'm doing it. I'm doing it for others. I'm doing it to help people, and if I can't get out there and do it, then, you know, I'm not doing what I feel I'm here to do. So I just have to get over myself and put my own fears aside and say, yes, I'm going to feel that fear and I might feel nervous, but I'm just going to get out there and do it anyway. And the more we do stuff, the more we put ourselves out there, the better we get at it, and the less the fear takes hold. So I think that's, for me, it's such an important one. Anytime I'm really feeling like I don't want to do something and I'm too scared to do it, I think of the other people that would benefit from it, and then I'd go and do it anyway. And I think if you think of that in context of, say someone fell off a cliff edge in front of you, not that, you know, we're all standing at cliff edges, but just, you know, imagine a scenario where someone is getting hurt and you're there, you are going to risk your life to save that person. You wouldn't even think about it. You will just do it. And you would let your fears you'd push them aside. You wouldn't even probably wouldn't even feel the fear because you'd just be acting in the moment. But it's kind of like that. If you're really going to help someone, then you can't be putting your own fears in front of helping others. So that's something I feel really passionate about, and yeah, I hope that makes sense. And you know, I see people who want to do stuff, like they really want to get their stuff out there in the world. They maybe want to do some Facebook Lives and they feel too nervous to do it, so they don't do it. And then there's all these people who could benefit from it if they did do it. So I think if they could put those people first and get out there and do it, it's really going to help shift the world. And it, you know, like sometimes when I do a live, there might only be a couple of people who watch it, but the feedback I get is that it's helping people. So I have to keep doing it. I can't stop. And if I stop, it's only being selfish. And the more I do it anyway, the more I love doing it. So I just love giving in this way, something I love, and I get a lot back from it as well. So to anyone out there who's not feeling particularly courageous or feeling like they're really stuck in their fear, this is a really good tip to just think about, well, if I did do it, who am I helping? And also the other one is to think about, you know, what's the worst thing that can happen, you know? Yeah, maybe you'll make a fool of yourself. So you're not going to die. It's not going to die from that, you know? So the other thing I did want to say before I finish is just to remind people that I am running a course all about courage. So I am just embodying courage every day myself, and I'm reading books like I've got this, you know, Paramahamsa Yogananda book about living fearlessly. I've got this one that I've just been talking about. I'm just surrounding myself with the essence of courage so that I can really provide that as an energetic upgrade for people who want to do the course with me. So the course starts on, hey Nicole, the course starts on Thursday. So we're on Saturday now. So it starts next Thursday and it runs for 5 days straight. I find basically that if we immerse ourselves in a particular topic, that by 5 days of doing an hour a day, and then the stuff that happens beyond that, that you start thinking about and you start doing, within 5 days, shifts will occur. Absolutely. So I ran a course called Authentic, did it in the same style, and so many shifts occurred for the people in that course. Lindsay, you were there, and I know that you got a massive shift out of that, and so did the others, and to the point that, you know, people just wanted to keep going. But so I'm going to stick with the 5 day method because I think it really works. You immerse yourself in courage for 5 days, and I can promise you that you will feel more courageous on the inside. But not only that, you will take more courageous steps. Absolutely. I know it will happen. And I believe that so strongly that I've said in all my stuff that if that doesn't happen for you, I will happily refund your money. So, and Lindsay's saying, love it. Your work is always so incredibly valuable. Thank you so much, Lindsay. That's such a beautiful thing to say. Thank you. I love working with you. You're awesome. Because you, out of anyone, Linz, you do the stuff. Like, you just do it. You're like the A student, aren't you? You know, you write heaps. You really take it on. And I love that about you. I love working with people who actually do the stuff. So, yeah, it starts next Thursday. There's a link at the top of my Facebook page to find out more details and to sign up. We do it in a private Facebook group, and it will be a fairly small group, I'm sure, just an nice intimate number. I don't have huge groups. Nice intimate number, you get to know some new people and get to go on a beautiful, courageous journey together. And by the end of it, I know that you'll be doing stuff that you probably didn't even think that you would be. So I would love you to come and join me there. I've already got a few people signed up, and I'd love a couple more. Anyone who feels like there's anything, so it can be your personal life or it can be your professional life where you really want to take some more courageous steps, or you want to try something new or have a conversation with someone that you don't feel comfortable about. If you do this with me, things are going to shift and you're going to take some more courageous steps, more than you could possibly imagine. So that's all I wanted to talk about. If you've got any questions about the course or anything about courage or anything in general, leave me a message. If you're watching this on the replay, #replay, and leave a comment so I know what you thought. And I'll see you online again soon. Take care. Bye for now. See ya.